Hello, my name is Ashley Miller. I'm your GI tube nurse for Palmetto Health, and I just wanted to go over a few facts with you about the placement, the marking, and measuring of the NG tubes. So, first of all, you have to have an order to place every tube. Even if it comes out, you have to have another order to replace the tube. So whenever you place an NG tube on your floor, you need to get an x-ray confirmation. So you want to get an x-ray confirmation of the tube, and when the radiologist states that it's in place, or you realize that it's in place from radiology, you want to mark the tube here at the nair. So not on the holder, but behind the holder. You can see the tube behind the holder, so you want to mark it here, and then you want, with the marker, and then you want to measure from the nair all the way to the very end of the tube here. So all the way to here, to where you would hook something else in the tube. So all the way to the very end. These paper tape measures can be found on your unit, and it's measured in centimeters from the nair all the way to the very end. So you document that under the GI form. So under the GI form, there is actually a spot for centimeters, right where you normally chart. If you have a small bore feeding tube, placement is checked on those tubes the exact same way. So they should be marked where they come out of the nair, and then measured from the nair all the way to the very end of the small bore, and they can also be charted in the GI form under centimeters. So once you want to mark all tubes with a permanent marker at the exit side of the nair. You want to measure in centimeters from the nair to the very end of the tube. You want to do this with initial placement and once a shift. So once a shift with your initial assessment, you want to make sure the mark is at the nair, and then you want to measure from the nair to the end of the tube and document that. So that should be done once a shift. And then every time you check placement on the tube from then on out, you want to make sure the mark is still at the nair and the tube has not moved. The only exception for all of this is decompression only tubes. So if your tube is placed for decompression only, which means no meds or no feeds at all are given down the tube, then as long as you get back gastric contents from the tube is considered to be in place. So those tubes will not be marked or measured once a shift. Placement is checked on those tubes by just the verification of gastric contents every time you assess that tube.